Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Let Go Room wherever you are in the world. I'm Lisa, this is Bodhi and Maverick. They're such clowns, they've been trying to eat my plant behind me before the class, so we'll see how we go, fingers crossed. Today's class is all about building resilience and strength, and that we've probably forgotten our own inner strength. It might be laid up with conditioning, what might have happened to you in your life. It could be anything. So it's just about remembering that we have that inner strength and that empowerment, and we're here to live our full lives. So it'd be a shame not to do that. Anyway, hope you enjoy the class. We're going to just start with some deep breathing and a kiss from Bodhi. So let's begin breathing in and exhaling out completely. You're going to have to move, buddy, in a minute. Breathing in. Exhaling completely. Let's just let that breath go completely. One more breath in. As you gather up, there's energy around you in the cosmos, in the world. I'm getting really spiritual now. And exhaling out completely. Okay, we're going to start in mountain pose today. So coming up to the top of your mat, or as close as you can get to it. And let's just really plant those feet down into the earth wherever you are. We don't want to lock those knees. We're going to lock our core in though. Drop any tension in our shoulders and just let our fingertips make their way down to the earth. Let's just take 2 deep breaths as we come into our bodies. We just want to really let go of what needs to happen after the class, what's happened before, and really just stand in our bodies. Beautiful. Letting go. Let's come into a chair pose here. So let's deepen through the knees, extend through the fingertips, and let's just play here with how far we can bend into those knees. So again, we're looking at the depth, spreading the sit bones out to the back of the room, locking in through the core so that you've got stability here. So we want to really keep our body safe in our practice. So you do only what feels good for you today. Otherwise, just ignore me and do a child pose or take a rest. So let's try and come up on our tippy toes here. Working through those ankles, let's deepen. You can soften the gaze. One more breath here. And then returning heels down. We're going to step out into a forward fold. So your toes are pointing in here. Let's lock in through the core before we hinge here. An option to either extend the arms, and we're just going to pause here for a moment, or you can come straight down into your forward fold. Otherwise, we'll take one deep breath here. And then folding on down. So your head is going to make its way down towards the ground. Let's drop any tension in the neck here. So whatever shape this takes for you, just stretching through the lower back, the hamstrings. Option to hang out here or take your right hand to left ankle. And let's take left arm up towards the sky. You can follow me here. We'll take hold of right thigh. And then again, let's take one breath in as we drop any tension in the neck here. Exhaling. Let's take that over to the other side. Whatever option's good for you, left hand, right ankle, right hand up towards the sky, or let's bend in there. Take hold of that left thigh. Finding our bind. Beautiful, one deep breath here. Releasing, just letting go with every breath. Let's come up into goddess pose. These 2 clowns, what are you up to? Let's bend through the knees, taking our toes out this time. We're just going to take a nice side stretch here. So right arm up and over. Let's open up heart center towards the sky. Doing whatever feels comfy with your neck. And over to the other side. Left arm up and over. Open up chest towards the sky. We don't want to close off any parts of us. We want to embody the whole lot, our whole perfectly imperfect selves. And back to center. Let's take a prayer hand here in towards the heart center and just try to deepen that posture. Let's see how far we can go. Breathing in and deepening here as we strengthen through those thighs. One more time, breathe in. And depth here. Perfect. Let's make our way up to the front of the mats. And back into chair pose again. Really looking for that strength, that depth just for one breath. Breathing in. And as we exhale, let's bring hands through center and come into a forward fold here. So feet are about hip width apart. We're just going to breathe in, find a half lift here. Wherever your hands are, look for that length in the spine before we step back into plank. Excuse me, boys. Okay, so finding your plank here. Hips are making their way up towards the sky. Maverick. Okay, coming down into cobra. If you don't have a griffin underneath you. And back into downward facing dog. So your down dog, we're really opening up the hips here to the back of the room. Let's spread through the fingertips. And we're pressing all of our weight to the back of the room. We don't want any tension in those wrists there. Find your breath. Drop any tension in your neck. Taking one deep breath here. And exhaling. Let's take left foot up to the front of the mat. Put it on the outside of your left wrist. We're going to roll up into warrior one. So just for a beat here, we're going to open up that hip. Bring our both hips shining to the front of the room there. Find your depth before opening up into warrior two. Beautiful. So making sure our spine is aligned all the way up to the sky. Not too far forward or too far back. My left knee is pointing over my toes before turning up left palm. Let's reverse that warrior. Again, looking for depth here. Opening heart towards the sky. Left elbow makes its way to left knee as we open up into side angle. So again, always opening up through that chest. We don't want to hold any tension around that chest. We don't want to be curling over and protecting ourselves. Beautiful. Let's come around into high lunge. So if you're feeling a little bit wobbly here, like you're on a tightrope, making sure left knee is wider and right leg is underneath the hip as well, so that you've got that stability. Let's bring hands through heart center, right elbow, left knee, and come into a twist here. So that beautiful spinal twist here, working with the digestive organs. Amazing. Let's place our hands down onto the mat. Drop that back knee here. Come into a low lunge. So working our left knee out, let's open up through that hip. And like we're just going to set our gaze over our left shoulder here. If you can reach your right ankle, option to come into a quad release here as well. So just playing with wherever you are, wherever the body will take you today. We'll replace that right foot down. Let's straighten through left leg, come into a runner's lunge here. So sit bones making their way down towards the ground. Always deepening the breath, bringing the breath into those constricted or tight parts in the body or the mind. Okay, rolling forward. Now we're going to come down into lizard pose, but that's going to look different for you. So you might like a prop underneath your elbows, flattening that back foot. So if there's any tension or holding, we tend to hold emotions in our hips around that area. So in this class, we're welcoming in anything that comes in. Trying to tune in to our own inner knowing. Coming back up onto your hands, let's walk that left foot over and come into a pigeon pose here. So you might like to stay up high or walking the hands out, forehead meets the mat. Doing whatever feels good with your arms here. Let's take a breath. Before walking your hands up, we're going to meet in downward facing dog. So if you feel like taking a flow here, let's come into plank. Work heart center down as we roll into up dog. And then back, we'll all meet in downward facing dog here. So really, again, taking any tension out of the wrist here, dropping your head down towards the mat. No tension in the neck. And let's take right foot up, behind right hand, and find warrior one. So again, checking through the foundations of the body. Both legs are working here. Our spine is long as we create space between the vertebrae. Let's shine those hips towards the front of the room and opening up into warrior two. So opening up that right knee, working both the legs here. Spine is tall. Taking a breath before turning up right palm. Let's reverse the warrior. Heart center opening up towards the sky. Dropping head back if that feels comfortable for you. And then right hand, right elbow onto right thighs. We open up into our side angle here. So extending through the fingertips right down to the tip of the left toes. And extend those arms out if you'd like a little bit of core work here. Working into that core, we're warming it up. And then turning around, let's make our way into our high lunge. So looking for feet placement where you feel stable before hands come through heart center. Let's come into a twist here. Using that core to support you. That strong core that's there. Hands are making their way towards heart center. And let's return hands down to the mat, drop that back knee. Dropping the foot down, we can open up through the right knee. Really opening up through those hips. If you can take hold of your left ankle, working it into the quads as well. So let's deepen the breath here. That nice deep breath that calms our nervous system. And then returning foot down, let's straighten through right leg. Nose makes its way down towards the knee. Opening sit bones to the back of the room, saying hello to your hamstring. And then let's roll forward here. Coming into lizard or your version, using props if you did last time. Really drop that back knee out behind you so that there's no tension there. You're being good boys, aren't you? Yeah. And then making our way back up. Let's inch that foot, that right foot over. Coming into your little pigeon pose here. So finding what's comfy for you. Again, forehead making its way down towards the ground. Let's find rest here for 2 breaths. One more deep inhale. Exhaling as you make your way out. Let's come onto all fours here. Just curling up the toes. So I want to really spread through the toes here and give them a nice stretch. Let's make sure wrists are under elbows, elbows are under our shoulders, and let's just raise up here. So really hugging belly button towards the spine here. Let's take one deep breath. And then leaving the toes where they are. Sit bones make their way down towards the ankles. Let's just come into a child pose, but while we stretch through those toes. So really opening up the chest wall, the heart center makes its way down towards the ground. If there's any tension in that upper back here, let's just really drop through. Drop any tension in the belly. Bring that breath in, even if it is a bit squashed. And then unraveling, let's make our way down onto our fronts. Beautiful. So stretching through fingertips, stretching through toes. Let's breathe in, raise up the arms. And just set your gaze towards your fingertips. And return. This time breathing in, let's raise the legs up. One deep breath. And return. Option to bring up arms and legs at the same time. So really, again, we're puffing out that belly here. Let's create some space in the organs and rest. So option to come into another locust pose or taking hold of your ankles. So you might just want to stretch through your quads here, or you can bring it up into full bow. Wherever you are, find a breath. Breathing in. And release down. Amazing. Let's roll onto your backs here. So going onto your back just for a moment. So placing the soles of the feet onto the mat, let's cross the right leg over as if we're sitting in an armchair. Option to find that bind if it's available. And then we're just going to drop the left knees over, the knees over to the left, and right shoulder makes its way down towards the ground. Set your gaze towards the right fingertips here, doing whatever feels good with your arms. They can be extended, or you can find cactus arms. Taking out any last chinks in that spine. Breathing in. Bringing feet back. Let's reset here. Left leg over, finding that bind if it's available. Dropping knees over to the right. Dropping left shoulder down towards the ground and setting my gaze out towards those fingertips. Let's take one more really deep breath here. Inviting in that relaxation, that deep relaxation. Exhale as you come back to center, hugging knees in towards the chest. Bringing in movement if that feels good for you. You can even rock and roll if there's any more tension in the spine there. And then finding stillness as you hug those knees in. Try to keep a nice neutral neck and spine here. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to finish off with a meditation. So finding any props that you might need. You might like an eye mask, a blankie if it's cold where you are. We've got the opposite. It is steaming up a storm in Queensland, Australia. So getting yourself comfortable. Turning off any mobile phones. Let's just create and carve out this space for you. So as you settle yourself in, let's just inhale gently together through our nose. And exhale out through your mouth, making it audible if that sigh feels good for you. And just let each breath become longer, fuller and slower. Feeling your ribs expand, your belly soften. And feeling your shoulders drop, your jaw relax, and your whole body begins to release. Each inhale drawing you into the present moment. Each exhale releasing anything you no longer need. And breathing right down into the soles of your feet, through your legs. Breathing right into your body, anchoring you here in this moment. Let's breathe into the fullness of who you are. Steady, real, and grounded. Bringing your attention now to your heart center, that quiet space in the middle of your chest. And inhaling, expanding, creating space here. Feeling your gentle aliveness. Connecting you to your truth, to your own inner compass. Breathing through this heart center. Each breath brings a little more presence, a little more honesty, a little more you. And as you breathe, letting these words land. I am resilient and strong. I am grounded in who I am. I trust my own rhythm. I am free to be me and to allow my full expression. Now breathing these words into your being. And allow them to settle like a gentle truth. Knowing your own inner strength is always there for you to come back to anytime. Now breathing in as we come back to the day, back to yourself, back to your lives, back to this moment, feeling a little more grounded, calm, and a little bit more strength. And really be grateful to yourself for taking the time for this class today. You're amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are.